All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do our Bitcoin Daily Update Weekend Edition. This is also a long weekend in the USA. However, of course, Bitcoin continues to trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I want to go through something a little bit different today. There's something happening in the crypto world that's in the short term having a heavy impact on the price of Bitcoin. You can check the chapters below for the technical analysis, but it's more important, I think, to talk about what is going on in the short term and why it's having this impact on Bitcoin. So that said, I'm going to take a quick look at the 15-minute chart, and then I want to talk about what's going on. So as always, there's an orange line right here where the markets closed on Friday. So Bitcoin was trading at about 20,500 when the equity markets closed on Friday. It broke below this line at 20,000, which was a crucial line. That was a 4.5-year line of support. Bitcoin has now broken through both of those lines of support. Did get all the way as low as 17,500 on Saturday night. We're back up around 19,600 right now. So we'll see where it goes from here. But if you take a quick look, even on the 15-minute time frame, you'll see this 4.5-year line of support at 20,000 looks like it might be turning into resistance. We've bumped off of it about twice in the last 12 hours, and we've gotten rejected. So we'll have to wait for some larger candles. Again, these are only 15-minute candles. We're staring the potential that in the short term, this is going to be turning into a line of resistance, which is extremely typical. Okay, so I'm going to walk through this by reading an article. Another crypto lending platform is freezing withdrawals as the industry's downward spiral continues. So we've had a series of events in the crypto world, really starting with the Terra Luna situation. All of these things have one thing in common. They all trace back to crypto projects and or crypto exchanges that took high levels of risk and or high levels of leverage, and they are now paying for it. Okay, so crypto is not like your cash in the bank or your investment in stocks. There's no backing by the SEC. There's no regulations. There's no FDIC. So this is a little bit of the Wild West still at this point. So it is going through some massive growing pains. Terra Luna was the start of exposing some weaknesses, and this is what tends to happen inside of any system or business or industry. Once weaknesses are exposed, they're exploited. You're going to see as I talk about this, none of this has anything to do with Bitcoin or Ethereum. And I talk about Bitcoin in specific because mostly this channel, we talk about the Bitcoin miners, and those trade obviously as a function of Bitcoin. So each individual crypto project is its own thing, but I'm going to speak mostly about Bitcoin right now because really everything that's going on has absolutely nothing to do with Bitcoin. But what does happen is it does cause a cascading flow of liquidations. In addition to the fact that we've been having downward pressure on Bitcoin for about the last 7 months, in the last few weeks, the pressure has been unreasonable. We have taken a major jump down through massive lines of support that were almost $9,000 apart, and we took them out one after the other. So a lot of this has to do with these crypto lending platforms, which are becoming essentially insolvent or unable to keep up with the pace at which their customers want to get their money back. So we know the Terra Luna situation ended up basically in everything going to zero. So that was massive. We then had the Celsius situation. Celsius is a reasonably sized cryptocurrency exchange, and they have stopped all withdrawals, transfers, exchanges. So their money is all frozen up. Their customers have not gotten any of their money back yet. That doesn't mean they're not going to, but what it does mean is they will likely have to do some massive liquidating, and probably already have, which is a part of the reason that all these cryptocurrencies are falling. When you have an exchange do mass liquidations, it causes undue downward pressure on cryptocurrencies that they hold. So it's not the fundamentals of the cryptocurrency itself, it's the exchanges that are failing at the moment. So currently, this is the weak link. The crypto exchanges, they run the risk of not being able to fulfill customer obligations. So I'm just going to do some of the bullet points of what this thing talks about. Crypto lender Babylon is freezing withdrawals for users due to unusual liquidity pressure. So Babylon is a smaller cryptocurrency exchange, but this is yet another example. So once they say you can't get your money back, you don't know if that means I can't get it back today, I can't get it back this week, or I'm never getting it back. So obviously that starts to cause panic. It's the second major platform to do so this week as the crypto markets face a massive sell-off. Celsius previously stopped letting customers withdraw their holdings on Sunday. Now Celsius is much bigger than Babel. That one really has had a bigger impact. And again, they're going through liquidations as we speak. That has caused all of the crypto crash, and it looks like it reached a bottom temporarily on Saturday night at around 17 for Bitcoin at around 17,500, but we don't know how much more of this remains, how much more risk there is. Celsius Network has 1.7 million customers, so they cited extreme market conditions as to why they're not able to give any of their customers their money back. Okay, so lastly, this article goes on to say the routes also impacted hedge funds like the 10-year-old crypto-focused Three Arrows Capital, also known as 3AC. So Three Arrows Capital is a hedge fund, but they have a bunch of money in cryptocurrency. They have borrowed from other exchanges. If they are illiquid, they're going to be unable to pay those other exchanges back, and that has the potential for those exchanges to then have to liquidate their cryptocurrencies in order to fulfill their customer obligations. So you can see how this continues to spread. So I do think there's an end to it. None of this directly impacts the fundamentals of Bitcoin itself. What this does do is I'm going to show you another article. This is an article from Routers. Analysis: U.S. crypto lending firms likely to see greater regulations after Celsius troubles. So this is where all of this ends, is we have regulations coming. These crypto exchanges are unregulated, and it particularly affects the altcoins. We're going to have to get legislation regarding the altcoins, how they are classified. We got a little bit of a hint to what's going to happen last week, but that is far from done. And what's more important is we need regulation on how all this stuff is traded so that customers can have some confidence in being inside of the part of the crypto ecosystem. The other thing is there's some major changes to the crypto ecosystem coming, and a lot of people that like the DeFi portion of this may not like this, but the truth is much sooner than later, there will be a Bitcoin ETF. And at that point, people are going to be able to buy into Bitcoin and avoid all of these exchanges and all of the complicated process of getting a wallet, opening an exchange, moving your money, buying a stable coin potentially in between. So everything gets cut out. When there's a Bitcoin ETF, the amount of money that can flow into Bitcoin will grow exponentially. And all of it will be in safe custody versus having your cryptocurrency on an exchange. Now, a lot of people already take their money off of these exchanges and keep them in cold wallets. So I would urge everybody to research all of that. And if you're holding cryptocurrency, understand where you're holding it, mitigate your risk. A cold wallet is always one way to do that. There's also dangers with that. But again, in the future, as bigger companies come in, Robinhood also, you can trade several cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin. There's some places that have less exposure to the overall risk. And once the ETF comes in, then that's going to take all the risk out of this. This is causing a massive downward spiral in the price of Bitcoin in the short term here. I don't know how long the pain is going to last, and obviously nobody can pick a bottom, but I just wanted to explain this is the underlying pressure that's happening. These crypto exchanges, as they start to, I don't want to say default, but as they start to withhold funds, this creates panic, and it also creates liquidations. So all of these things in combination have short-term ramifications of pushing the price of Bitcoin down. So I don't know how much further it can get pushed down. I'm going to go look at a few of the technicals now and talk about it from that perspective. But again, we're a little bit in uncharted territory. So these exchanges, through risk management and leveraging, have caused a situation that is just not yet done unfolding. Okay, so this is Bitcoin on the monthly time frame. For a long time now, we've been talking about the 200-week moving average. That has been strong support. We've touched that line 3 times previously since the beginning of Bitcoin. One of those 3 times we bounced right off the line and did not break it. The other 2 times we did candle wick below that line. Both of those times we candle wicked about 30% below that line. We are clearly right now below the 200-week moving average. So I've drawn one line of support. I have a purple line here at about 15,500. That represents a 30% pullback from the 200-week moving average. We'd be looking at a price of somewhere around 15,500. Okay, this is also Bitcoin on the 1-month time frame. So this has a different line. This is the 300-week moving average. So this is a line that Bitcoin has only ever interacted with one time. Again, this does not go as far back because it needs 300 weeks of data. So this goes back to 2016, but you will see closest we ever got is about 40 40% away from the line. So it's not a line we've had interaction with in the past, other than this candle right here is the month of March of 2020. So obviously global events were going on that were, black swan event level events that caused us to touch this 300-week moving average, which we have never touched before. I never thought this one would have to come into play, but currently this is sitting at about $16,600. So that would be another potential line of support. So we've got one somewhere around 16.6. A 30% pullback from the 200-week moving average put us down to about 15.5. And I put one more line on here. I've got a line down here at about $10,350. That would represent an 85% pullback from Bitcoin's all-time high of $69,000 in November. In the last two crypto winters, if you will, Bitcoin had about an 85% pullback. So to me, that would be the final line of support. Now, obviously, none of these are a guarantee. To me, these are the next indicators that show us some level of support. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. So that's what I've got for you on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency situation. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and we will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much.